Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sal Vetri, and today we're going to be going over more of sort of a basics, or at least my approach to these golf majors, or really just golf in general. The reason I want to do this is a lot of the people that watch my videos, how you guys doing, how you girls doing, thank you for being here. They follow me from the NFL and the NBA streets. That's where the majority of the bulk of my videos have been. We're getting into MLB tomorrow. That's pretty exciting. But for the most part, that's where those people's backgrounds are. Now, some people obviously stumbled upon me because they were looking for golf content. So welcome. You might be new. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. But thank you. I really appreciate you tuning in and the nice comments that you've been leaving. But a lot of the comments were pretty much saying, hey, I'm excited to get into golf. How do I do this? Or what is this? What does this mean? What is the best approach? Yada, yada, yada. I saw some lineups that were squeezing in one or two $10,000 players and then three $6,000 players because they know the names of Dustin Johnson, Rory, maybe even Brooks, and they know Tiger Woods, of course. So they're just fitting in what they know, and they're like, oh, Tiger just won the Masters. Oh, he's a great play. And I'm here to tell you and just try and walk you through my strategy, whether it's lineup construction, whether it's overall strategy, and really the basics to this whole DFS golf thing and what you're looking to do. So let's break down into it and just get it started. Like I said, hit the like button, comment down below. Are you a DFS golf player? Have you been for a while? How long have you been playing? And if you're new, let me know. I'll answer any questions that you have, either in the comments, DMs, whatever it might be. So it's going to be a little bit different of a video because I already have the strategy video out. If you're here looking for, okay, what does he think about this slate, these salaries, things like that, go to that video. I put it out yesterday. I thought it was a decent one. The only mistake I made was I was looking at the course history, right? And I don't know why I had a brain fart. Bethpage Black was not where they played last year. It's a rotating course. They played there like 2 times out of the last 5 years or something. So that's why you're going to see some of these course histories be a little bit different because they have not played at the U.S. Open at the same spot every year. Things of that nature. So like Brooks winning last year in 2018, that does not mean he won at this course, right? That just means he won the PGA Championship. So yeah, that was a mistake that I made in that video. So I don't know why I just had a brain fart. I forgot it was a rotating major. It's not like the Masters or the British Open. So here we go. Let's break into it. And before we do, I just want to give a shout out to the guys over at Drafters. Really down to earth people. Really cool over there. If you have not checked out Drafters, a couple of people have been DMing me or messaging me in the Discord. It's pretty cool. And now they're running a promo, which is you enter for free, you can do paid contests as well. It's called a rank 'em. You just rank, and this is for the PGA. We did it for the Masters. It was pretty fun. You rank your top 10 golfers, and it's similar to like Draftkings or FanDuel where it's 1.5x to the captain spot in that mode. But this is, you pick your top golfer. So say this week, I don't know, Brooks Koepka wins again, and he's the #1 ranked golfer. He's going to get 10x. So it's going to be hard not to win if you don't have him in that spot, right? But a little initiative, so the second guy will get 9x, and all the way down to 10. You'll put 2 reserves if a guy just doesn't go or something like that. Withdraws, I don't know actually. We should check in on the withdraws. If somebody withdraws after day 1, do you get to put a reserve in his spot? I would imagine so, but we should check in on that. That'd be pretty cool. I'll let you know. I'll get back to you in the Discord on that. Get in the Discord. It's totally free. But if you rank all 10, like the perfect lineup pretty much, if you build the perfect lineup here, you get all 10 guys ranked. And that doesn't necessarily mean you pick the top 10 on the leaderboards for the PGA, but it could, right? Some guys will get more birdies and you can, the 13th finished guy will be better than the 10th or something like that. If you rank all 10, you win 25 grand. So it's tough, right? I mean, ranking all 10 is extremely unlikely, but the opportunity to enter this for free, why not just build a lineup, enter it for free? It takes literally 30 seconds, just rank the 10 guys, and you can enter it multiple times. Enter it in, and if for some reason you get extremely lucky, like winning a GPP, and you get to enter for free, you just bink 25 grand. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool promo. Get over there. It's called a rank 'em. You can just drag and drop the players that you like. Things of this nature. Later on in the video, I'll kind of build out a couple of guys up top that I do like, trying to be a little bit different. So that's it. This is Drafters. Head over there if you have not already. They have some other game modes as well. You can play head-to-heads, not just tournaments. It's pretty cool. There's not a lot of sharks over there. It's a different format, no salary cap. I think it's a nice, refreshing, and just a different mindset you have when you're playing this. It's not as, I would say it's not as stressful, for one, trying to just pick salaries and fit guys in and thinking about ownership as much. You drive yourself a little bit nuts, overthink some things. Check it out. They're Drafters. So thank you for getting through that. So back to the golf. So the things I will say about golf, it is not the same strategy every week, although you can deploy similar tactics. And what I mean by that, you're playing different courses every week. This course, Bethpage Black, is an extremely difficult course. So last week was a birdie fest. A birdie fest just means if it's a par 4, you make it in 3 shots, you get a birdie. Well, they were playing on links, which is pretty much there's no hazards. You're just hitting it. It's just a bunch of grass. A lot of it is just short grass, fairway grass, and it's hard to get in trouble. There's no trees. The fairways are large, and if you're off the fairway, you're still in short grass for the most part. That was the AT&T Byron Nelson last week. So pretty much, it just hit it as hard as you can, get it to the hole, get it in, and it was just a birdie fest. The winner was like minus 20, and that's what happened. Now, Bethpage Black, it depends how hard it's going to play. We've had weather issues in the past that have made it like only a few guys are going under par, right? The winners are like under -5, -4, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. It's a much difficult course compared to what we've seen as of late, like the AT&T Byron Nelson, Wells Fargo. I expect low scoring, and by low scoring, I don't mean -20. I mean more so maybe higher scoring, I guess, -5, -6 to win this thing. So you need guys who are not going to get themselves in much trouble, right? Because if you make mistakes, it's hard to get birdies to capitalize on those mistakes. So this course is a long course. What that means is it's 7,500 yards, or right below it, 7,460 yards. Now, it's a par 71, which again means that you got to get there. You got to get to the hole. Obviously, that's the goal for everybody, but you have to get there quick. So if you're big and you bomb it off the tee, you can hit long drives. That's a big benefit here because the course is long. It's only a par 71, and you want to get to the tee as fast as you can. Another thing is just getting it in the fairways, so driver accuracy. If you're hitting this and you're bombing it off and you're getting into a hazard, you're getting into the rough, that's going to be hard because if you're losing strokes in that area, just trying to get to the tee, it's going to be difficult to make those strokes up later on because this course plays so hard. Depending on where the hole locations are, which are probably going to be a little bit more difficult towards the end of the week, it can be really hard to make up ground. So some of the key stats when I was talking about those that I'm looking at for this week are driving distance, so how far can these guys actually hit it off? Now, if you follow golf for a good amount of time, you can probably pick out some of these guys. You know that Dustin Johnson can bomb it. You know that Rory can bomb it, and so on and so forth. Jon Rahm can bomb it. Tony Finau. But if you don't, you can just look at this. I have this on Patreon, or you can get Fantasy National. Shout out to them. They're a great provider, Fantasy National, of just incredible stats. I built this sheet. I could add some more things as well. You can come here. You can look at driving distance. The higher the number, the better. You can see Rory bombs it. You can see Dustin Johnson bombs it. You can see Tony Finau top like 3 in this field and bombing it. That's what you want. The next thing that you want is driving accuracy. You can see that Matt Kuchar, extremely efficient in driving accuracy, and so has been Henrik Stenson. Driving accuracy pretty much just means how many fairways they hit. When they tee off, does it stand in the fairway or not? Because if it doesn't, then you're going to have to scramble. What scrambling means is this stat right here. It's your ability, once it's in the rough, once it's in a hazard, to save par or even save birdie. It's pretty much you're scrambling and you're not losing a stroke. You're not bogeying that hole. So I'm looking at key stats of, can they hit it? Can they hit it far? Because you got to. It's a long course. Can they stay in the fairway most of the time, or at least above average, above the field average, right? And can they scramble when they're in a bad situation? Can they get there? Birdie rate is obviously something that's important every single week. Maybe a little bit more this week because there's going to be less birdies. So who are the guys who get it consistently? That's something we can look at. GIR percentages, greens in regulation. So it's pretty much just how often you're finding the green. On your second shot, if it's like a par 4, whatever it might be, how often you're finding a green. We can see Tiger has been extremely efficient there. Tiger Woods is a guy who really was not picking up a lot of birdies. He was just scoring based on positional scoring. You finish first, you get more points in golf, second more so, but less than first, things like that. But now he's picking up birdies because he's hitting the greens more. He's just hitting it straighter and also picking up more distance on his drives. Now that his back is fully healthy. You see Matt Kuchar. Matt Kuchar is a guy who correlates pretty nicely. He's hitting the fairways. We saw his driving accuracy be high, and now we're seeing his greens in regulation also be high. That's usually how it goes. If you're hitting the fairways, then you're going to get to the green a lot easier. So, and then he has low bogey percentage because he's getting to the green easier. It's easier for him to at least par it. So these are some of the stats that I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at greens in regulation. Can they get to the green and not have to just go up and down, right? Not have to scramble near the green. Tee to green, I'm also looking at. Strokes gained tee to green. This just pretty much means overall, everything factored in. When they're teeing off getting to the green, how many strokes are they gaining? The higher the number, the better. You can see Rory is just absolutely smashing the field. He's crushing the field. Justin Thomas, he actually withdrew, so do not play any Justin Thomas. He was doing very well in this category. Tommy Fleetwood's been very consistent. Hideki's been one of the best players, top 5 in the field. So these are the things I'm looking at. I'm not too worried about putting on this course unless somebody is terrible on these putting surfaces, like I would say Keith Mitchell, who should be highly owned, but I will be fading him, like I mentioned in the video. So I'm looking at driving statistics, and I'm looking at just ability not to make mistakes. Now, those are things you should look at every single week, but I think it's even more important this week, like extremely important this week, because the course is so long, and it's going to be hard. If you shoot +2 the first day, it's going to be really hard to come back. The cut line in this very well, or if you shoot plus like 5 the first day, it's going to be hard to get anywhere close to even if you even make the cut. I think the cut line will be like a +2 or something like that because this course is most likely going to play very difficult. Maybe +1 only, but +2 is in question for sure. So that is kind of the key stats. And every single course, like I said, is different. If this was a shorter course, well then yeah, I would still look at driving accuracy. How easy do these guys play par fours? Things like that. Can they get to the hole quicker? Are they better at putting if it was a course like that? But for me, putting doesn't matter. It's the ability to get to the greens quicker, because then once you're on the greens, if you're going to have eagle putts, that's great. If you don't hit your eagle putts, well, there you are. You're there for a birdie. You're there quicker than other people. I like that. So that's overall the stats that I'm looking at and how I break it down. And you can get this again on Patreon if you want to support me. This is my sheet. You can download it there. I will update some things as well. So now into the actual slate and how I pick people. Now, again, if you're a casual or even you just like Tiger Woods, you're going to say, oh, Tiger, he's going to win this thing. He's won so many majors. No, he's overpriced. He's overpriced and overvalued both by Vegas and himself. Well, not himself, but Vegas and DFS. I'm fading the 10K range. Now, there's only 4 guys left in the 10K range. Justin Thomas is not playing anymore. He withdrew. So it's really easy for me to fade that range personally. And there's a couple of reasons why. This is a major event, one of the 4 majors. The Masters was the first one. Now you have this one. You have the other Opens. This is a major event. Everybody in the field, for the most part, is a good player. It's soft pricing, meaning that you have guys down here like Hideki or Patrick Cantley. We saw Hideki being priced in the 10K range previous weeks because he's a great player, but now he's in a stacked field. So they can't just price everybody at $10,000. You want to be able to build a lineup. So you're getting discounts on guys like Hideki. Pretty much everybody in that 7 to 8K range is discounted to where they should be every other week because the field is so stacked. So what I like to do during these weeks, and what I usually like to do every single week, is build a balanced lineup. I hate paying up to an $11,000 guy because they have to usually win or at least finish top 2 with a good performance because they're so expensive to pay off that tag. And also if there's ownership on them. Like Tiger this week, he has to win the whole thing if he's going to be 20% owned and that expensive. But the part that sucks the most about it is when you're picking an expensive player here, you're missing out on an extra guy in this range most likely, and instead of playing an extra $8,000 player, you got to dump all the way down here to the $6,000 range. And these guys stink. They're $6,000 for a reason. And here's the thing. 70 people will make the cut. This is the biggest piece of DFS advice, or just the goal of DFS, at least for the first 2 days. There's 150, now with the withdrawal, there's 155 people in this field. And out of those 155 people, 70 will make the cut. Now, it might be actually 80 or 78. It's whoever ties. It's the top 70 finishes. So if there's 10 or 15 guys tied at +1, they all make it. So let's just say half the field, right? Half the field makes the cut, right around 77, whatever that might be. Half the field's making the cut. You better be damn well sure that majority of those people not making the cut are the guys who are not that great, the guys that are in this range. Now, sure, a few $6,000 players will surely make the cut or get right there, right on the cut line. But the point is, it's throwing a dart. You're throwing a dart at this range. You can pick the guys based on where they rank in the world. Eddie Pepperell, you can pick Matt Wallace because they're better highly ranked players, Kyle Stanley, but usually that doesn't matter. They're down here for a reason. They stink. I don't want to fit guys in who have such a high cut equity, because if you're not getting all 6 of your golfers through, meaning Friday there's a cut, so only the top 70 places go on to the weekend. If you're not getting all 6 of your guys through, there's no way you're winning a tournament. Sure, you can still cash if you get 5 through. It's difficult, especially if it's a big tournament. But if you don't get all 6 through, you're not winning a tournament. 5% of the field's going to get all 6 through. So I like to come up to this range and I go, oh, okay, you know what? I think Ricky Fowler can easily win this thing. Maybe not easily, but just as likely, in my opinion, at 22-1 odds. I think those are decent odds. I think he is just as likely to win it, excuse me, as some of these guys up here in the 10K range. Personally, I think he has that talent and that upside. He can win a tournament. We've seen him win a major. So Ricky Fowler is a guy at 9,300 that I'm fine going to. And yes, he's saving me $2,000 off of Tiger Woods. And this is where you start to get to build. Instead of putting Tiger in a $6,000 dust play, you can start and you can build Ricky Fowler. And then you can go here and you can get this range right here, which is just incredible. Sergio Garcia, $7,000, a major winner, very cheap. Gary Woodland, who's been playing a little bit worse as of late, but still an incredible player. He's ranked top 25 in the world. Ian Poulter, other guys who are top 20 in the world. Webb Simpson, 7,600. I'd much rather have those guys who have made every single cut or only missed one, compared to the guys in the 6K range who are lucky if they make half their cuts. In a stacked field like this, their cut equity in terms of normal tournaments, they're making 50% of their cuts. Their cut equity is dropping significantly. So yes, I like the balanced approach. I usually always like the balanced approach in DFS golf. I just like my cut equity upside much more. And what I'm paying for, guys that I'm paying for in the 8 and 9K range, I think they have upside to win the tournament. I think obviously Tiger, Brooks, Dustin have upside as well, Rory. But is it that much more different than me dropping down to a dusty player who more times than not is going to get cut? I just don't want that risk personally. So I build mid-range. That's why. And again, the biggest thing for DFS golf is getting all 6 of your golfers through. Them getting cut is going to hurt your equity a ton. If you miss 2 of your golfers through the cut and they're both in the 6K range because you want to squeeze in Dustin Johnson and Tiger Woods, well, if you're only getting 4 golfers to the weekend and Dustin Johnson and Tiger Woods finish first and second, you're still probably not winning any money because you didn't pick up 2 days worth of points from 2 golfers that other people were at least picking up 1 and potentially even 2 golfers' points during that weekend, if that makes sense. So yes, my biggest advice is don't play more than one 10K player guy, and I really wouldn't even play one of them. This is not a tournament, or it's not a pricing structure that benefits going to the top. Going to the top means that you're not going to get another elite top 20 golfer in your lineup. And instead of having an elite top 20 golfer from the 7 to 8 to 9K range because you want to pay up for Tiger, who's overpriced, or you want to pay up for Dustin, who's appropriately priced, but again, very expensive. If you want to pay up for those guys, you're dropping out a top 20 golfer in the world for guys in this range that are in the top 100, top 70, right? They're much worse golfers. And in a stacked field, do you really think these 6K golfers are going to beat out some of the best golfers in the world? Again, if you're in this tournament in a major, you're a pretty good golfer, but there's different tiers to it, right? So that's just my approach. Go more so balanced. At least that's how I usually attack golf tournaments, especially in the majors when there's softer pricing. So those are the stats I went over. Those are the pricing is the way that points are set up is you want guys to win. The higher that they score or they place in the actual tournament, the more points you get. A guy places in first, you get like 20 extra points, whatever it might be. So obviously you want the guys who are going to win. So pick guys who have win upside. It doesn't mean that your $7,000 players have to have win upside. You would like them to, but not every single person in your lineup has to win it for you. You should have at least 4 guys in there who have the ability to win a tournament, at least in my opinion, because you want one of them to hit. Really, all 6 should have it, but if you're fitting in a cheaper guy, just know that he's probably not going to have win upside. A way that you could see win upside is not only their first place or top 10 finishes on the year. That's a pretty good indicator. Those stats are right here. You can check out their course history, which again, this is a rotating course, does not matter that much. But Vegas is a good way to see win upside relative to other guys in the area or price around them. So like here, Matt Kuchar is 60 to 1 odds. So that means that he's a much, they don't think he's going to win as much as Tony Finau, who's 35 to 1, or Jordan Spieth, who's 25 to 1. This is a rare situation. Jordan Spieth is similar to Tiger Woods. Everybody knows the name, so they bet on him. So his Vegas pricing is not as accurate as everybody else in the field. Him and Tiger are going to be over-owned. Maybe even Tony Finau a little bit. So when you see Matt Kuchar 60 to 1 at $8,700, I come down here to a guy like Patrick Cantlay, who's $8,200, and he's 50 to 1 odds to win it. So Vegas says, wow, well, Patrick Cantlay is a better, he has more likely to win this tournament than Matt Kuchar. And he's $500 cheaper on Draftkings. So that means he's underpriced. So yes, like any other sport, I utilize Vegas odds. And any other sport, you use them everywhere. NBA, we use Vegas odds every single day to attack the higher paced games that have potential more scoring. MLB, that's the biggest way that you stack teams. It's same with NHL, is Vegas odds. NFL, obviously, same thing. You stack teams, you pick players, quarterbacks from the higher total games. Golf, people don't use Vegas odds in golf as much. I think it's an edge and a way to leverage some things that I personally think not a lot of people are taking advantage of. I mean, you want to go all the way down here and pick out guys who are interesting. Matt Wallace is 125-1 odds to win this thing. Those are terrible odds if you just look at it in a vacuum. But look at him relative to the guys around him. He's $6,700. He's ranked 36 in the world. And everybody else around him is 200 to 1 odds to win, 250 to 1 odds to win. The next guy who's anywhere close to 125 is priced up all the way to 7,100. Matt Wallace is only 6,700. So yes, he would be the guy in that range that I would target. But again, he's down in this range because he's not as good of a golfer as the rest of the field. Now, I think he's a little underpriced. He should be in the 7K range, but that's a different story. So that's how I identify value. I usually use the Vegas odds. I also add up all my key stats. I divide it by a normal variable, and then I see what guys are popping compared to their price points. So if you watched the other video, you were kind of seeing which price range guys that I liked. Usually they're guys who have win upside. I picked a lot of guys in the top 20, top 25 in the world. That just means that's a pretty good indicator that they're pretty good at golf. And I'm staying away from that low bottom range. So for the questions that were asked, well, what does this key stat mean? What does this key stat mean? I try to answer it as best I could in this video. Again, if it wasn't clear enough or there's other questions, drop down below. Another key stat people look at is course history. This is this right here. But for this course, you can look back, but don't look at it every single year. Because last year, when Tiger finished second and Brooks finished first, John Rahm tying for fourth, and third place, I believe, last year was Adam Scott. When that happens, they were not playing at Bethpage Black last year. This is a rotating course, so when you're looking into the course history, make sure you're looking at it from the U.S. Open when they played at Bethpage and things like that. And the weather in those situations was much different. There was a lot of rain, a lot of wind. Right now, we're not looking at getting any of that early on, so it's going to play totally different this course. So that's the key stats. The way that I go about building lineups is usually balanced. The way I identify value is through the Vegas odds. It's also through the world rank, which is on this sheet, and it's also through when I build up all these stats, divide them by a specific variable, and then I see, okay, who is an indicator of popping based on their price point, things of that nature. Yeah, I think you can build some extremely nice lineups if you start your lineups in the 9K range or the low to mid 9K range. You can just soak up everything between the mid 7 to the 9K range, which is usually filled with high quality golfers. I think you're not going to be different in doing that. I think the contrarian approach would be playing a guy like Justin Rose at 9,900 or Brooks at 10.4. I really do. I just don't think it is an optimal approach. So sometimes being contrarian is optimal. I think just building your lineup in the mid-range is going to be a little bit more optimal. So that's this little bit of a tips video. I hope I covered everything. Try and get 6 out of 6 of your golfers through. That is the biggest thing in the world. So when you're in the low range value, Sal, how do I identify value down there? There's so many $6,000 golfers. Which one's the best? They all stink. For the most part, they all stink. Look at the world rank. Look at their Vegas odds. Look at some of the key indicating stats. For this course, it would be driving and getting to those greens and regulations. Not so much putting for me. And then you can make the decisions there. But just know, for the most part, if you're digging around in that $6,000 range, you're throwing darts. You're throwing darts and you're putting your money on the line. That just seems like a big risk to me when I feel a lot more comfortable going balanced. So that's just me. Hope this helped you guys and girls. I'm going to post this video now with the basketball one. Peace out, gang.